administration will prioritize the implementation of body-worn cameras for police personnel. He made that argument during his sectoral debate presentation in Parliament on Tuesday, and he echoed long-standing calls from advocacy groups such as Jamaicans for Justice and, of course, the Commission of Parliament, Indicom. Fitz Jackson joins us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sir George.
How you do?
That Sir George has a ring to it, you know.
It does?
Yes, it does.
You'll tell me why later. Listen, man.
I will.
Talk to me about your sectoral presentation. Now, you spoke about several issues, including this thorny issue of body-worn cameras for members of the JCF. What's the PNP policy likely to be if it takes charge of government where body-worn cameras is concerned?
Well, that was stated very clearly yesterday that we strongly support the required use of body cameras for the reasons I expounded. We have in Jamaica for a while much questions about what the police claim and what the citizens claim. And it comes down to who you believe. What the body camera does is to represent what literally takes place. And that is very clear.
Yeah. So
and what we want to prevail in any just society is for the truth to prevail. And let the chips fall where they may.
do you get the sense that the police are not using them in the numbers that would satisfy organizations like JFJ because of a government, I don't want to say government directive, but is it that the government is somehow standing in the way of the police using more body cameras at this time? Is that your impression?
Well, for us, it's not a matter of what the impression is what the facts are. That's our starting point. For example, in police operations, right? A policeman just pop up on a situation and something happens, not necessarily wearing a body camera. It's a different thing. But when you have a planned operation, right? Planned operation, you're likely to have confrontation. That's reasonable to expect. And since that is likely to happen, you want the truth to prevail. We are confident. We are confident that the professional training of the JCF members, our police officers, make them competent to deal with any situation in a professional way. If someone attacks a police, defend themselves. There's a question about that.
Yeah, but what I want to get clear to the listeners, Fitz Jackson and the viewers as well, is: are you saying that government policy is in the way of the police not using more body-worn cameras now? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the government is a bit shady about the policy. What our position is, I can speak for the PNP in this regard. What manifests in terms of what happens must mirror what the policy says. So if your policy says this and something else is happening, then the policy is meaningless. It is not achieving the stated goal. And we are saying a PNP government is going to ensure that the policy that says this must happen, we will put the resources in place to make it happen so that the people can have confidence in what we say. Quite often governments say many things. Mm-hmm. We hear all these promises being made, but what the manifestations are.
Based on your information,
that gap between pronouncements and action.
Based on your information, is there anything credible that is causing the police to not be wearing body cameras in greater numbers?
George, I'm not going to go in the world of speculation. As I said,
here's why I asked the question, because I want to know. Hold on. Here's why I asked the question, because I want to know about the scale or existence of any impediment sufficient that if the PNP forms the next administration in due course, if not short order, it can have more body cameras on the uniforms of police personnel than exists now. Because remember, you say that you will implement a policy to have far greater numbers being used by the police. So if you are poised to do that, what is a situation that you will have to reconcile to make that happen? Is what I'm trying to establish in the question.
What whatever the situation is. Our responsibility as a government is not to perpetually explain problems. It's to solve them. And once they can be solved, once they are doable things that can be done, and the provision and wearing of body cameras is a doable thing. You get the technology that you need. I hear about the storage of the information, etc. Those are clearly identifiable things. It is not technology that you're going to create. It's technology that you're going to acquire. And if we are sincere in our pronouncements, and if we have the resources, as the government claims, and they may not, I doubt that they even have the resources to. That's the reason why we say, I made a pronouncement yesterday, we will allocate the resources to make that possible. We can't have the people have an expectation from the JCF, but we are not resourcing them to do it. It's a very dangerous position to put the police in.
Yes. On the point of the police and the dangerous position they're being put in, do we have, you would say, the right man in charge of the JCF, Dr. Kevin Blake?
Well, what I've said yesterday, we commend the policy direction that very much aligns with what we have been prescribing for a number of years now. Right? Don't ask me to cross a bridge before I get to it.
No. Are you happy with Dr. Kevin Blake as police commissioner?
I said yesterday,
yes.
I am pleased with the policy position and those matters being pursued by the new commissioner of police.
So it's a yes. Kevin Blake's agenda aligns with how the PNP wants to see policing done.
That's exactly what I said yesterday.
Very well. So you see, but you could say yes. I didn't have to draw it. So here's the thing now.
Don't try to put words in my mouth.
No.
I will never succeed in doing that to you.
Fitz Jackson, where it is that you haven't put words where it is that you haven't put words on the table, I have to put words to invite you to the point. Here's the thing now. On the point of the human rights groups and their lobbying, and they are at pains to say that, look, especially the JFJ, that, look, we are not anti-police, but there are certain things that we are demanding to increase accountability. As you examine the accountability call, is there anything that you disagree with from the perspective of JFJ?
Well, I've said it yesterday too, that accountability is a critical ingredient in preserving trust between the citizens and the security forces. And accountability comes in many different forms, right? The body-worn cameras is but one, and as I said in the presentation yesterday, we are confident that professionalism can prevail, and we will endeavor to make sure that it prevails in the JCF because the trust factor is critical. I'm a strong believer in the role of the JCF as civilian law enforcement officers. In my own constituency, I have seen where community policing has worked and made a tremendous difference. Once it was dismantled, I see the breakdown and the consequence of it. I lived it in my years as Member of Parliament in South St. Catherine. I can compare the success and the failure in the absence or presence of it. And many other communities speak about it. And if the thing works, we must expand it. Mm-hmm. Another thing I spoke of yesterday that we have said in the 4 years now and pushing the government, the use of CCTV, creating more and more safe space.
Yes.
There are two major things it accomplishes. One, it creates a sense of safety, of security on the part of the citizens in those areas. Two, it conveys to the criminal and criminal-minded persons that you are on the watch and you can perpetrate criminal activity against individuals.
Yes.
We believe in that. Those, again, are things that can be acquired.
Yes.
No new technology need to be created. And then we have these multiple public spaces, for example. I'll share with you in my own constituency where we have the allotment of Wi-Fi through Universal Service Fund. One of the criteria I use to select the areas in my constituency are those public spaces.
Yes.
The car parks, the shopping areas. And then I go to areas for learning purpose and so on. Mm-hmm. Because we have, from the days when I was shadow spokesperson for national security.
Yes.
And the launch was made, big launch at the National Arena. I said it then, and I keep on repeating it. The PNP, in fact, it started from the PNP period in the pilot projects, when former Minister of National Security, Peter Bunty, had the portfolio. I think it was tested first in Ocherios and a couple other places. Why aren't we spending more in those areas that can make a difference? And the next point I want to emphasize, which I said yesterday, for us, security is not just about murder numbers. It's about people feeling safe.
Yeah.
Feeling safe.
And the fear of crime being reduced.
And the fear.
We're well over time. I hear that Delroy Dobney has you under pressure in South, and you're putting up billboards, things that you haven't done in a long time. Wait, no man. Things that you haven't done in a long time. People say you're now doing it because you're feeling the heat of Dobney in South St. Catherine. True or false, huh?
I never know you will repeat falsehood.
I'm putting a question to you.
No, who is that person?
I'm putting a question to you, man.
No,
Take me up on the question.
Billboards, I've been using billboards in my constituency, in my campaign for the last 4 elections.
But them said they're more plentiful this cycle than ever before.
No, in fact, it's less this year.
Oh, I
It's
see.
less this year. In fact, I'm being criticized by my comrades. Why am I putting up less billboards than now?
Yes.
The truth is some more are to go up. But the people installing it have some difficulties in some of the areas which are seeking to do. But no. If that claim is made, and therefore those people have amnesia.
They're amnesiac.
And that's a major sign.
That's the major sign. So you say no pressure.
Hold on. The only pressure I have is the one I give myself to continue to serve the people of South St. Catherine and Portmore the best I can. I put myself under that pressure continuously. And any day I'm not going to have that pressure, I walk away.
Hear you on that, sir. Thank you this morning for your time.
Anytime.
Fitz Jackson, excellent. Fitz Jackson, MP for South St. Catherine, and he spoke in the sectoral debate on Tuesday.